Link. 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 Thanks to you, all of the divine beasts have returned to us, and the spirits of the champions are free. We will all be awaiting your clash with Ganon at Hyrule Castle.
Alright, we have now completed all 4 divine beasts, and of course, we're not going to go to it straight away. We need to still finish the divine beast Varuta main objective quest first. To do that, we simply need to go to the throne, and then after that, we're going to deal with everything there is to deal with in Zora's domain. We already did 2 side quests before the divine beast, the only 2 that were really available. After that, we're going to do the other 7, 5, I can't remember, but we have some stuff to do. First things first, though.
Link, you did well to survive your trial. I've been waiting your return. The violent downpour has disappeared, as has the threat to Zora's domain. It is a little more than a bad dream now. Thanks to your efforts, there is no longer any danger of a great flood laying waste to Hyrule. You appeased the divine beast Varuta, and thusly saved Zora's domain. We are truly grateful. What you did for us is more than we could have ever expected of you.
Link, I must sincerely apologize for my harsh treatment of you. This whole time you were thinking of Hyrule's and Lady Mipha's well-being, just like the rest of us. All of the members of our council humbly fold our fins back in gratitude, along with the rest of our people. Perhaps the older generation of Zora, myself included, misunderstood Hylians after all. It would seem so. That said, I would be overjoyed if you would find it in your heart to forgive me. If not now, then perhaps one day.
Link, I must reward your efforts. Now then, I implore you to collect the treasure inside that chest over there. It was cherished by Mipha, a memento of sorts. I would like you to have it as a token of our friendship. Please take good care of it. Speaking of the sword that seals the darkness, I hear that a legendary blade now sleeps in the Lost Woods. Mind that I cannot say with certainty that it is the same blade you wielded 100 years ago. Still, I advise you to go there and see it for yourself. The Lost Woods are to the west, north of Hyrule Castle. Link, all of the Zora thank you from the depth of our hearts for your heroic and selfless work. And you too, Sidon. As your father, I am proud of you for fighting the divine beast alongside Link. You have grown much recently. I know you will be a worthy heir when your time comes.
Father, thank you.
The heavy rains have stopped, and the divine beast is our ally once again. How glorious, truly splendid, wahaha!
Link, this is wonderful! Link, thank you so much. Truly, I could never thank you enough. You helped save our home from vanishing away. This calls for a top-tier expression of gratitude. Zor, ra ra ra, with all my heart. Thank you. Alright, and that is Divine Beast Varuta done. And in the chest is Mipha's trident herself. Herself? Sure, the light scale trident. Oops. It'd be a good replacement considering I already broke the ceremonial trident. Whoops. Lovely. I shall be sure to store that in my house real soon. First things first now, we're going to take on all those side quests and talk to the people as we leave the domain. As soon as I learn how to talk to King Dorephan. It showed up for a moment. Do I have to be on the platform? Yes, I do. Okay.
Link, I am truly and eternally grateful for you for saving Zora's domain. Everyone is rejoicing. There is no happier place in the world. But Link, there is something I wish to ask you. You journeyed with Ruta, the divine beast of water. But within, now you are back, but Mipha has still yet to return. Is it as I feared? Were we too late?
I met her spirit.
Her spirit?
Sorry, I can't change the angle on this.
So that means Mipha is really is... Did she say anything to you? I see, my dear Mipha. I simply cannot believe it. There was nothing I could do to save her. Still, Mipha fulfilled her heroic duty as champion. And she will never be alone. It is my duty as her father to watch over her, even now. Link, she really loved you, you know. There is no mistaking that even now she is overjoyed to be able to help you. Promise me that you will always remember her. Promise me that.
I'll never forget her.
I appreciate you saying that. You are a good man. If you ever run into trouble, know that you are always welcome here. No matter the time, we shall all greet you with open fins. Link, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Okay, that was nice. So now we're going to do all the side quests you can do as we are leaving the Zora's domain. So, for example, there's one quest that's on the path to Zora's domain. We're doing that last since we're on our way out. First of all, though, also, Prince Sidon is here.
Link, I must thank you. You somehow overcame the objections of the old geezers of our council, all to help save our home. Yes, you are a treasure of a Hylian, taking time out of your journey to come to our rain and monster-ridden home. And here you activated those orbs with shock arrows, freed Ruta, and released my sister from her lingering regret. Link, I simply can't thank you enough, especially for following me to the end, pushy and unreasonable as I am. Zora's domain would still be in peril if not for you. You are welcome anytime, and we are ever at your service. Have I mentioned how incredible you are, and how thankful I am? Because you are, and I am. Yes, you are the greatest of Hylians, and my most treasured friend for all time.
Wow, Prince Sidon, that's quite a thing you've said there. But alright, now that we're done with that, we now need to go to the plateau a level up from where we actually are. Whoops, I went the wrong way. Also, while we're here, can I just say I love the music. It's obviously a cover / remix of the Twilight Princess one. I love it. Anyway, we're going to Torfu here.
Hylian, to think that you were able to appease Ruta, you turned out to be a pretty incredible guy. In fact, I wonder if you could do this too. Exterminate the Hinox by Ralis Pond.
Surely.
Okay, in that case, give it a try. For he who has saved the domain, this should be a piece of fish cake. Go on, I'm counting on you.
Alright, the Giant of Ralis Pond. If you go on the map, you can see it is just down here. Even though it's activated in Zora's domain, we do need to actually go away from it. But that's where we're going next. Time to defeat a Hinox. Oh man, I was just here trying to collect some Fleet Lotus seeds before the battle, but if you're going to start now, then I guess I can do that too. Alright, so how am I going to defeat this guy? There's a few ways you can do it. We've seen us fight a Hinox before, but what I think we're going to do is just use the cheap way that I like doing with these big enemies so far, is just stasis them with the upgraded stasis, and then attack them when they're vulnerable from it. Right, get up, buddy. On top of that, especially because after a while, the Hinox will block his own eye from the arrows, so if you freeze him, he obviously can't do that. Bam! Look how much damage Urbosa's Fury does. Wow, that's intense, but okay. And you got that too. Lovely. Let's get a better bow. Bam! This should not take long at all. And he's almost down. He's blocking his eyes. Let's go for just a nice arrow, sure. Bam!
Daruk's protection is now ready to roll.
Thank you, Daruk. Right, and just grab his stuff. Some sneaky river escargot. Interesting. And yeah, let's return to Torfu. Torfu? I don't know.
That's Stench. Did you perhaps defeat that Hinox by Ralis Pond?
Yep.
What? You really did? I can't. Wow. Thank you. Really? I knew it. The champion who saved the domain is in our whole other league. Please, take this. Consider it a small token of my immense gratitude.
Nice, a silver rupee.
I guess you beat me to dealing with that Hinox. I really want to get stronger.
Alright, thank you. Giant of the Ralis Pond is done, and I've just now angered Torfew. Great. Right, next up we're going to go to another person on the plateau, if that's what I'm calling it now. Next up we're going to the very back end of everything, to Giotto.
Link, it seems that I was wrong about you. Seeing Divine Beast Varuta's form there. Even though we lost Lady Mipha, it seems she can still help you fight against Calamity Ganon. Oh, I am sorry. I did not introduce myself sooner. I am Giotto. I am a historian who studies Zora history and preserves it for future generations. Even so, this stone monument that King Dorephan supposedly wrote is torn to pieces now. Most likely, the 10 stone monuments outside of the domain are in the same awful condition. I'm thinking about collecting the contents of all of the stone monuments and compiling them into a book. But with these old legs and fins, traveling to all 10 stone monuments will take a great deal of time. That is why, Link, I'd like to ask a favor of you. I'd like to find all 10 stone monuments around Zora's domain and tell me what they say. I'd like you to do that.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. You're truly a lifesaver. How reassuring that the champion will search for those monuments for me. I have it on my good authority that among the stone monuments, one has the location of some treasure written on it. If you happen to find said treasure, feel free to keep it. It'll most likely be something that a Zora wouldn't need. Yes, you'll need to find the 10 stone monuments around Zora's domain. I believe in you. In fact, I'm counting on you.
Okay, Zora Stone Monuments. One of them is here, but it's just a duplicate. History of the Zora, Part 7. The hero who defeated King Dorephan. There was a time when the people of the land were threatened by the beast who lived in mountain. But one drove the beast back and ordered peace to the domain. The Zora helm in this fight is north of in the near. It rests there to or the eats of the heat. Time has taken its toll on this thing. Yep. I'm surprised I did that somewhat well, but yes, we're now going to go and find the 10 monuments, and I will mark them on the map because the side quest itself does not. See you in a mo. So here we are with the map all updated. I've put a star where monuments are. They're estimates, so I will go in more detail where they are, but they are pretty much scattered all around Zora's domain. I'm going to do them in the order, so I'm going to edit them into chronological order, even though I'm actually going to find them in a whole scattered order. Right, does that make sense? Let's go. This one is just up on the path on the northern face of this mountain. Mount bit.
History of the Zora, Part 1. The Eternal Zora's Domain, as told by King Dorephan. The rains have blessed Lanayru since ancient times with an abundance of pure, clean water. Seeking a bounty of such water, the Zora gathered there. Thus, as the legends go, the domain was born 10,000 years ago. This land was also rich in ore, and so a unique form of stone masonry was developed to create our new home. The domain is one giant sculpture, a feat of architecture that has drawn admirers the world over. Our great domain will ever stand as a hallmark of the esteemed artists who made it, an eternal symbol of Zora pride.
Right, next is just a little bit above the bridge, not Luto's Crossing, but the one west of that.
History of the Zora, Part 2, A Reservoir of Hope, as told by King Dorephan. Once every 10 years, the Lanayru region experiences unusually heavy rainfall. The Zora River flooded every time. The tides damaged not only our domain, but our people, washing away poor souls and causing great suffering and disarray. The Zora king of that time, after seeking aid from the king of Hyrule, rode out to see what could be done. By joining the architectural genius of the Zora and Hyrule's technological prowess, East Reservoir Lake was swiftly built. Thanks to this fruitful partnership, Hyrule was no longer plagued by these devastating floods. In gratitude, the Zora king promised the king of Hyrule to manage the reservoir level to protect all of Hyrule from floods. Each Zora king has kept that oath, spanning 10,000 years. That is why the reservoir signifies our bond with Hyrule.
Up next, we're going west of Ruto Lake. We're going into this little it's on the shore, so the marker map might not be entirely accurate, but we're on the floor, west of Ruto Lake.
History of the Zora, Part 3. Miracles of the White Scale as told by King Dorephan. Our scholars say that in a distant past, Zora's domain had a king with no special talent for the art of war. What he lacked in skill with a blade, he made up for in love for his people, and especially love for his queen. One day, news reached the king of a horde of monsters gathering in the Zodabon Highlands. The king steeled himself for war to protect his people, but the queen knew how ill-suited for the task he was. Worried for his life, she wove one of her own scales into his armor, hoping that her love would protect him in battle. It seemed for a time that the tide of battle favored the Zora and that all would make it home safely. But the cunning Lizalfos general saw an opening and seized it, driving the king's forces into a corner. Just when the general's sword was ready to crash down upon the king, a miracle took place. An errant sunbeam reflected from the scale of his armor, blinding the Lizalfos, stopping the death blow from falling. This was the chance the king needed to rally his forces and turn the tide, taking down the general and securing victory. This came to be known as the Miracle of the White Scale, a scale that only female Zora possess. It was this miracle that began the tradition of Zora princesses crafting armor for their future husbands.
The next one is just south of Luto's Crossing, on a body of water up high-ish.
History of the Zora, Part 4. The Light Scale Trident, as told by King Dorephan. The queen and I were blessed with a daughter as lovely as a jewel. We named our princess Mipha. To celebrate her birth, the smithy Dento presented Mipha with a gift, a mighty spear called the Light Scale Trident. Mipha grew into a bright girl and soon reached the age of receiving lessons from the royal family's Order of Knights. The whole of the royal guard adored her, especially Sergeant Segan, who loved her as if she were his own kin. Under Segan's instructions, Mipha honed her skills, and her radiance grew along with her skill with the light-scale trident. As a champion, Mipha made her people proud. However, once the great calamity struck, she was never to return. All of Zora's domain fell into misery. The merest thought of the princess was enough to overcome anyone with tears. As a way of offering her soul repose, they tried to send the light-scale trident drifting down the Zora River. But when they did, the trident began to glow, and Mipha's voice rang out loud and clear for all Zora to hear. The light-scale trident and I are one. Abandon your grief and know joy once again. Do not cry, just remember. And so, keeping to her request, on the day of the great calamity, the day that Mipha passed from this world, the Zora venerate the light-scale trident and remember their brave princess. Such is the origin of the Champion Festival.
This guy is just a little bit west of Varuta.
History of Zora, Part 5. The Sage of Princess Ruto, as told by King Dorephan. Long, long ago, in a past more distant than even the great calamity or the creation of the divine beast Varuta, there was a Zora princess named Ruto. We know that she was an attendant to the Zora patron deity, and that she was a fair and lively girl, beloved to all. Around that same time, an evil man with designs on ruling the world appeared, bringing disaster upon Zora's domain. It is said that Ruto then awoke as a sage, facing this foe alongside the Princess of Hyrule and the hero of legend. Her achievements are remembered not only by the Zora, they are also forever etched into the history of Hyrule. The divine beast Varuta, built ages later to face off against Calamity Ganon, was named in honor of Ruto. That the Zora princess, my sweet daughter Mipha, was chosen to pilot Ruta is surely the work of fate.
Next up, we are in this little ridge west of Rutala Dam and east of Ruto Mountain. I got my marker a little off, but hey, that was kind of expected.
History of the Zora, Part 6. Divine Beast Varuta, as told by King Dorephan. When the divine beast Varuta was first discovered at Zora's domain, my daughter Mipha hurried to see it. Those present that day say that they saw an unusual spark of excitement in Mipha's normally calm eyes as she beheld Ruta. The princess spoke of the divine beast as she would a friend and was overjoyed when she was chosen to pilot Ruta.
I thought nothing of it at the time, but given the events that followed, I now regret allowing this to happen. I have spent many long years consumed by guilt. My dearest wish is that her soul will know peace. I pray for it every day.
Moving on, we're now east of Rito Lake at the bottom of this zigzaggy path. Now this one is actually the duplicated one we saw at the beginning, so I think I'll skip it, but you know what's going on here. Moving on, we are now just northeast of Ruto Mountain on the west side of this mount here. History of the Zora, Addendum 1, King Dorephan stands his ground. Around 100 years after King Dorephan ascended to the throne, a stray guardian crossed up Land Zorana into our domain. The guardian seemed unstoppable. Our best soldiers' spears barely left a scratch on its metal hull. It was then that our King Dorephan, without a thought for his own safety, came out to face the guardian himself. With supernatural strength, he lifted the guardian and hurled it into a ravine. The impact of the fall left the guardian in pieces, and it was never to trouble another Zora again, ever. The citizens celebrated the king's valor. From then on, their trust and respect for him grew beyond compare. You can still see the scar he earned that day on his forehead, a token of his triumph. Next up, we're going just west of Ploymus Mountain. History of the Zora, Addendum 2, Prince Sidon's Great Escape. There was once a giant Ogdorok in the Hateno Bay, large as a mountain, which terrorized the village's fishers. Hearing of this distress, Prince Sidon went forth to personally eliminate the offending Ogdorok. But this Ogdorok was a tricky beast. After the prince dodged one of the stones it spat, it inhaled him whole. Such had been the fate of many strong warriors who went to slay the Ogdorok. Not one had come back alive. Just as it seemed Prince Sidon would be counted among them, the giant Ogdorok twisted in pain. The tip of the silver scale spear pierced the Ogdorok's stomach from within, revealing itself as the source of the beast's agony. Incredible! Prince Sidon had fought his way out by stabbing his spear over and over into the monster's stomach. Unable to bear the pain, the Ogdorok coughed up the prince and scrambled to escape. Ever since, the fishers of Hateno Bay have passed down this heroic tale, the prince who slew the fell Ogdorok. Now, once again, my mark's a little off, but it wouldn't really be too accurate anyway. It needs to be underneath this little double cliff thing here. Way up in the northwest corner. Memoir of a Gifted Stonemason. What an honor it was to receive a personal request from King Dorephan to craft a historical stone monument. I did not realize how much content he'd give me, though. It certainly exceeded the line limits of a single monument. I suppose I could have just shortened the text, but it felt wrong to tamper with our great king's words. Thankfully, I was able to split it all between 7 monuments to ensure that every word was preserved. I have always prided myself on my ability to think outside the box. I am so very adaptable, and humble as well. While I was at it, I thought, why not add 2 of my own? And so I created one for King Dorephan and one for Prince Sidon. True, this is outside the scope of my commission, but I believe their triumphs deserve as much. But why stop at that? Why, indeed, my achievement surely deserves remembrance too. That is how a commission of 1 became 10. Of course, having increased the number of monuments, I have to find different places. I have to find places for them all. Still, it is worth it. So long as I remember to sign these monuments, my name will be forever remembered, as it should be. Okay. Well, that is all of the Zora monuments, so let's go and return to Giotto.
Link, it would seem you have checked all of those stone monuments for me. Now then, please tell me what was written on them. The history, culture, folklore, and various heroic acts of the proud Zora people. It's all here. Eureka! Thanks to you, I've compiled the precious information from those stone monuments. Link, thank you for taking on such an arduous task. Please, allow me to reward you.
Nice, and we get a diamond. We're getting a lot of those today. Lovely. Right, now we're going to move on further away. But first, we need to go get this Zora helm treasure. Where we need to be is Toto Lake, not to be confused with Lulu Lake, which also has 4 letters before its name, but oh well. Anyway, in Toto Lake is where we can find the Zora helm. Within the ruins, just north of the ... I'm not sure what the ... supposed to be, but I don't know what is 3 words. The orb? I don't know. Anyway, it is found in this northern part of the structure here. Get it out with magnesis. And it allows us to do the spin attack in the water. And of course, speeds up our swim speed. Lovely, and now we're all set. We have the full Zora set. Not that I'm going to wear it very often, but now we can do a nice spin attack, and look how fast we swim. Beautiful. Right, let's move on to the next side quest.